This is the highlight of my week. Are you kidding me? Tax evasion, let's get it.
Note to self: things I did not know about Gillard. Tax evasion.
Oh, you. Shh, shh,
Create
It's a classic.
FBI staff.
shh.
Agent Tilly might be looking to relocate from Chicago.
It's. Did I say evasion? I meant creativity.
There you go.
Creativity.
All right, so who wants to recap? I know it's been a couple of weeks that we took off.
More like 3 weeks, but best yeah, it's been like 3 weeks. Yeah, best recap that I can give is we were all at the Eclipse Charm Chop House / Casino Alamond, like unknowingly doing our thing when weird stuff started happening and there was a mysterious darkness that started to fill the area. Terry, Mike, Gillard, and T all walked out of their private room to escape, and as they did, Mike in John's body and Morgana saw them and called to them. And then John started getting really weird goings on in his head that Mike was privy to as well. And meanwhile, on the main casino floor where all the tables were, Freddy, who we did not realize was in the area, was quickly trying to pocket some chips and make off like a bandit whenever he ran into some vampires in all this. Or we don't even know if he is aware that's vampires, but yeah. Anyways, so we're all basically trying to get away. Freddy's trying to solve the thing and does manage to knock the orb out of the main vampire's hand, the woman who seems to be leading this whole shebang, and makes off like a bandit. Meanwhile, Morgana, Terry, Mike, and Gillard are trying to escape some thralls from essentially eating us or what have you. So we managed to get away, but poor T gets caught in the crossfire, and when he was previously knocked unconscious, the thralls that were there dragged him off into the kitchen, allowing us to escape by Gillard and Morgana and Mike together, destroying the window in the private room and escaping out of it.
I must interject is that we skipped the greatest moment, which is Terry's Boondock Saints episode with a stolen desert eagle that immediately flew out of his hand.
One shot.
I don't know any.
One shot. That's all it takes.
I'm out of here. That's
So,
my recap.
What happened to?
Bye-bye.
Does anyone remember what happened to John Garfinkel?
Good old John Garfinkel collapsed, and Mike was ejected from his body, and we proceeded to carry him out in our escape.
So you did take him out the window, because that's one thing I couldn't remember, if you guys left him in the building.
Oh, no. We dedicated a lot of energy to getting John Garfinkel out with us.
Yeah, Morgana and Terry were carrying him, but he did start to kind of ruse, so he did regain consciousness a bit.
Yep. All right, so you're outside the casino. What do you... we're gonna kind of like you're gonna make it through the police line that has started to form, and like the SWAT team. You're gonna be able to kind of make your way through because they're still setting up. What does everyone want to do at this point?
At this point, Morgana wants to get back to her shop and survey because her shop got attacked by some thralls. I mean, she doesn't necessarily know it's thralls, but she wants to go and make sure everything's okay. She's been away from her shop for hours.
Okay. What's everyone else going to do?
See See y'all later. Gotta get
You
outta
just
here.
leaving everyone? You're gonna
Yeah,
call
no,
up
I don't know you.
your driver and
Yeah.
what about,
George?
what about
Gillard
Terry?
is out of here. Terry is,
Out.
after some rapid evaluations, trying to bring John Garfinkel to greater lucidity.
So you're
Yeah.
just gonna bunker down outside the window with the cops foreman and just try and wake John up?
Oh no, I would try to get a little ways away from the building. So
I will say at this point, I haven't left back to the shop yet. I'm still with Terry and John and Mike to make sure everything's okay.
Okay.
So I'll try and get a little further down the street, looking for a park bench or something to get us up on while he recovers.
So about, I'd say 5 blocks away, there is actually a small park that you would find that it is going to near the twilight hour. So it wouldn't be uncommon for some drunk or vagrant to be starting to make their home for the night.
Terry is well familiar with this style of life, so he is getting ready to bunker down temporarily on the bench. How's John doing? Is he lucid? Is he talking? How's he feeling?
John is still out of it. Like the lights are on, but no one's home.
Terry's contemplating for a moment. He pats his jacket a couple times and he reaches into a pocket and draws the card that John gave him for the Potions Lounge.
Okay.
Mike's been following along, I assume, as this is a sort of Mike activity that's pretty normal for him.
Mike is sulking.
So, hey, Mike,
What?
you remember how to work that Uber thing?
What?
The thing on the phone.
Well, no.
Terry, kid, I was the one who called for the Uber.
Oh, that's right. Here, give us a hand. We're gonna get John back to his people, and 2, I want to have a chat with them.
All
Maybe
right.
you should call my new best friend and see if he'll give us a ride.
Mike, I'm afraid he has dipped. He has left the premises.
I know.
And
It's inappropriately tickling my feelings in a bad way. I'm not happy.
I'm sure Gillard just had something to go do, Mike. That's all.
Is there anybody in the park other than us?
You do see like the occasional jogger make their way by, or a couple that's kind of cutting through the park on their way to maybe some bars.
A couple?
Yeah.
I want to scare the bejesus out of a couple.
Oh, okay.
Just gonna kind of drift
So
over.
they're kind of walking down the path, holding hands, kind of leaning up against each other.
I stick my face like right between them.
Okay.
And start doing what I would think of as satanic whispers in their ear. A chant, a mantra. Maybe try and turn the glow up a little bit.
Go ahead and roll your we'll say flair for that.
Flare.
Yeah. All right. So the whispers start to kind of make their way through the air, and she kind of stops and she looks at him, and she just kind of confused. They're not quite sure what's going on. What kind of things are you whispering?
Oh, like probably like Metallica lyrics, but real mumbly, so they don't know what I'm saying.
So they kind of look around the park, see if like there's some some kids with like a. I was about to say boom box, but who carries around a boom box over their shoulder these days? Some kid with some Dre's Beats hooked up to his iPhone.
As they stop, I want to.
Sitting against his chest and facing out, as is the style of the time.
As they stop, I want to start releasing the smell of my grave.
Okay. Describe to me how your grave mates smell.
Imagine the word grave cheese in the hot fallen sun all day long with urine and feces and soured alcohol just emanating and wafting off of it.
So at this point, the girl kind of starts to cough and gag, and she just shoves him and then storms off.
I want to replace where she's shoving so she sees me when she turns to push him.
With what you rolled, you're able to quasi, so she doesn't straight up see you, but it's enough to frighten her to where instead of her storming off, she actually takes off running.
Did I create an aspect of terrified?
No.
No.
Scared, but not terrified.
I was trying to use my phobophage.
Now, the guy who was there, he chases off. But sweetie, that wasn't me. I don't know what that is. And he's chasing after her. She's just running.
Oh well, still worth it.
This pleasant interlude concluded. Terry's going to coordinate with Morgana to summon an Uber and get at least the two of them plus Ghost to the Potions Lounge.
Okay.
Terry and John.
Okay. And then
right.
Prim, you gonna have them, or is Morgana gonna stop? Like, are you doing the whole like split Uber, like the carpool Uber?
Yeah. So Terry, take John's hand and get his thumb. Now put it on the home button of his phone like this.
Shoop. Done.
All right. And I start using it, and I basically, call for the carpool Uber.
Okay. So Uber shows up. You guys get into the car. Uber looks back, kind of looks at the interesting group that piles into the car. You have Terry and his kind of messed hair and stained clothes, and Morgana. Describe to me.
They
Morgana,
haven't been too badly stained yet. I'm still in the purple suit.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's in the blittering
true.
purple suit.
That's true. Morgana, what did you wear?
Morgana would still be wearing what she would wear sort of around the shop, which is like sort of this quasi like bohemian fortune teller sort of aesthetic, but it's a little more her and a little more thrown together. So it's like this 6'5" like figure, 6'8" in her shoes, like gets into the car, like, you know, looking lanky as all get out, but very curvy still. And like this brown button-up shirt with her sleeves rolled up, like a purple shawl thrown over her shoulders, and then like this mustard yellow colored bohemian skirt with like sort of a burgundy scarf to hold back like this poofy ash brown hair, and then her giant golden hoop earrings.
So driver looks at you and then looks at Terry. Terry in his like 80s Dumb and Dumber looking like purple suit. And he shakes his head and it's gonna be one of those nights. And just starts
And then
driving.
we're pulling John into the car as well.
The
So
largely nonverbal John Garfinkel.
So you're not leaving John on the passed out on the bench?
Not. He's
Hell
going to the
no.
Potions Lounge.
So this is gonna be one of those weekend at Bernie's type moments.
Exactly.
All right, so John's the driver just thinks John's drunk at this point, and so he drives off. You're probably in the the car for maybe 10 minutes, making your way through traffic. You pull up to Prim's shop, and you actually notice the entire front of the shop. The sidewalk is just demolished from the stone wall that went up when you guys were escaping. And there's not the police tape, but like the construction cones with the tape around it to keep people from like falling in the debris. Your windows are actually because you had like a main glass window in front of your shop, right?
It
Like a
was
picture
two bay.
window?
Yeah, it was two bay windows on either side of a door.
Those are blown out into the shop.
Yeah, I figured.
So you get out of the car and you kind of survey it. There's actually no way, like, because the front entrance is blocked off because of the construction tape. To get in, you'd actually have to go around through the back alley through your back door.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
So,
All right. So Morgana is at her shop. At what you actually do notice is, since you've been gone most of the day, as you survey the shop, it's actually been picked over by some looters since your windows were blown out and there was no one around. You do notice that Freddy has not actually returned yet.
I guess that's expected. I haven't seen him in a week and a half. But I'm going to go around and see what all was taken, and like survey the value of the goods so I can just file it against my business insurance.
Okay. Is Terry going on to the potions lounge with John? And
That is my plan. I bid farewell to Morgana here.
I wave at Terry and tell him, well, I guess I run back up to the Uber and I give Terry like one of Morgana's business cards. So like he has her number in case like, something goes wrong, basically.
it only took 6 sessions for you guys to trade contact information.
Terry doesn't have that exactly.
That makes my life so much easier.
Well, I mean, you think about it, we only met today and we spent most of today running from fucking like cops, basically. I mean,
That is true.
well, not cops,
And
but
vampires.
You met a
Yeah.
week and a half ago. Vaguely.
I gave everyone my contact information.
Nah.
What are you talking about?
Morgana didn't meet Terry technically until
That's true.
same day.
That is true. That is very, very true.
And like John has her contact information, but she knows that Terry doesn't have it.
All right. So Uber driver pulls into traffic, makes his way to the potion lounge.
I'm sitting shotgun.
You pull up to the... Did you say you're sitting shotgun?
Yes.
Okay. Sticking your head out the window. So you pull
Through,
up...
probably.
You pull up to the potions lounge, and you actually... It looks like it's a little bit of... I'm trying to think of how to describe it. It's a shop that kind of just blends in. It's kind of obscure. The only thing that really sticks out about it is on this brown brick wall is a purple door with green elaborate font that spells out Potions Lounge. And it's a kind of dark... There's a... What's it called? A fogged window?
Smoked glass.
Like private, smoke glass privacy window kind of thing, where if you look inside, you see it's a stairwell that actually leads up to a second floor.
If I try the door, is it locked? I get out of the car and continue leading John along.
The door does actually open, and you notice as soon as you open the door, you're actually kind of slapped in the face with this aromatic, kind of just different floral scents that seem to be emanating from the stairwell.
Oh, that's nice. Nice. What do you think, John, buddy? Think we can make the stairs? And I start pulling them up.
So you're kind of just. So describe to me what is Terry's strength?
Terry's physical strength is
What is your force?
Not so good. It's a 1.
All right, so we're gonna say you get halfway up the stairwell and you start to get a little winded. Do me a favor and roll a force. All right,
Hey.
so you get winded. You kind of you're got your arms underneath John's armpits. You're kind of. And you kind of just lug him up. You just kind of brute force your way through it, get him up to the rest of the top flight of the stairs. You lean against the door, and as you lean against the door, someone on the inside opens up. You kind of stumble your way in and find yourself sprawled onto the floor, and John just laying out as well. This lady,
You know what? This
kind
is
of looks
fine.
at you and goes, "What?"
This
And
is
she just
this
kind
is
of
fine.
shakes her head and walks past you down the stairwell.
I look around. So that was regular customer walking out. Is any of the staff sitting nearby?
There is a kind of not a maitre d', but a server who is walking by. It's a pretty open floor plan, and as you look around, you actually notice that pretty much all the walls are kind of the same color purple as your suit. Oddly enough, all walls purple. There's a mixture of purple and this kind of emerald green look that kind of spirals patterns throughout the walls painted on. There's some really colorful couches that the couches look like they're secondhand couches picked up from thrift stores. There's like these orange and it's just very gaudy. Nothing matches. And then there's scattered bookshelves throughout the walls. But this one server, she's walking by. She kind of stops a bunch of patrons. Where it might have been some casual talking, everything went silent as soon as you like banged against the floor. Server kind of stops, puts down her tray. She comes running over. Oh my, are you okay?
Oh, I'm a little tired. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not too important right now. My friend here, he's a little bit out of it, and I quietly say this next part. He's got something of a connection to the place. I guess some of his friends own it or work here.
What?
John's doing really bad too.
She looks over and she kind of rolls the guy over, and she notices it and she gets a little shy. She goes, "Oh my, John!" She waves over, and this burlier looking guy comes over. He looks like the type of guy who might be wearing like 2 shirt sizes too small, trying to show off his muscles, and he just looks over and he's, what happened? What did you do?
Hey, I got him here. I ran into John earlier today on some business of his,
Terry,
and we
Terry.
got into a little fight
Terry,
with somebody else. I was on John's side,
Terry,
Wait.
but he got roughed up.
John's
Terry.
not exactly a
Terry
fighter.
looks over at
something
Mike.
doesn't.
Terry. Tell him about Baba Yaga in his head.
I'll explain that in more detail. I transition halfway through that sentence. I'm talking to Mike, but then I realize I'm talking to this other guy as well. So I go from I'll explain that and then focus on the other guy in more detail in private, if you don't mind. It was a bit of a thing.
He looks over at the server and she goes, or he looks at her and goes, "You better go get a Milla."
Miller?
A Milla. This lady comes kind of hurrying over, and she's wearing a my words, they're escaping me today. What are
Oh,
those,
no.
like cooks and servers wear like
A chef's jacket?
Apron?
not
Or-
apron.
Apron, there we
Thank
go.
you. Big words. She comes running over with this black apron that has Potions Lounge kind of embroidered over the front of it. Her hair is actually the same colored emerald that you actually see scattered throughout it. She's got about shoulder length haircut. It's one of those haircuts to where she's kind of got like the side on half of her hair shaved and it's hanging over on the other half.
As she approaches, Terry, who's still a little bit like winded and exhausted and kind of loopy from the stress, he says, "Hey, I think between you and me, we really enhanced the decor of this place."
She
He
leans
points
over
back
to the,
and forth at like his jacket.
She leans over to the server and she goes, "Has he been drinking?"
You could
goes, "No,
see
he
me.
just-
This
he
place
just
would
got
be
here."
classy. I had class.
So
I bring it.
she actually waves over a couple of other servers who actually kind of pull John up and lean him against the wall. And she looks at you, Terry, and she goes, "You better have a good reason for being here with John in this situation."
Good reasons are probably beyond me. I've got a pretty understandable one though, but we might want to do it away from like I gesture vaguely towards her customers, the regular ones.
So she looks at the kind of like the bruiser fellow who showed up. She goes, "Take him into the back room and then come back and grab John. Get him some water, take him back to the kitchen." So he goes and he helps you up, and he's got this like vice grip handhold on you, and it's not like a normal grip. It seems like he's got a little extra oomph into his.
Terry's not fighting this one. He's charming his way out this time.
I'm gonna start rifling through his garments if I can, unnoticed, just going through him back and forth, looking for things that might be dangerous implements of destruction.
No, nothing. I mean, he's not like carrying a firearm or anything like that. He would be like your typical like bar bouncer, at least in appearance. So
the true nature of these things is questionable.
Yeah, as is everything. So you don't like resist or anything?
No. My goal is to charm these people and endeavor to be on their side because Terry's actually here seeking shelter from this assault of vampires and thralls and stuff. It's got him spooked.
Okay. So he takes you back into this like small little office, and the leads like through the bar, through the kitchen. It's this little side office with a small computer, kind of a little like love seat, for lack of better terms. And he kind of shoves you into the room, and he's like, "You don't leave." And he kind of storms off, and he grabs John, and you see John kind of he's carrying John like underneath, I don't know, like you'd carry a child, and kind of rushes him back into the kitchen. You hear some pots and pans kind of like clang off of a table back there. You assume that they're kind of laying John out on a kitchen table. A few minutes go by, and Amelia comes into the room, closes the door. She kind of leans back against the door, crosses her arms, looks you over a minute, and
Oh boy,
says,
it's
"All right."
Amelia time. Amelia time, Terry. He's gonna crack one open. I'm gonna lean up next to her.
Terry is trying to look for all the world like somebody who's definitely not a hostage and is very comfortable. So he's over on the love seat. He's leaned comfortably back.
This is it for you, Terry. Now we're gonna both be ghosts. We're gonna haunt each other in the afterlife forever. Neither one of us is ever gonna go on to our just rewards.
We're gonna flash forward now. not even flash forward. We're gonna like Scooby Doo, like switch over to
The transition.
Yes, to Gillard.
I am tired.
That's understandable.
I am
Mhm.
tired of having my life threatened, and I'm tired of running around with these goobers. Don't I have better things to do? Don't I have investments that are supposed to keep me from needing to deal with the rebel?
Could be riding around with your best friend in your awesome car.
So where would you like go after a situation like this? What would Gillard do?
Well, hopefully I'll go home.
Okay. Your home or a penthouse? Like a side
Like
safety.
my actual home.
Okay.
That they've never actually seen.
So you get home. I imagine you have like everything's a smart house, so you kind of like walk in, and as soon as you close the
yes.
door, all the lights come on, your favorite songs start playing.
Which is Metallica.
There you go.
Because I may be wealthy, but I have taste.
You go home to relax, and you just hear.
Yeah.
Mike, this is a bonding opportunity.
Unforgiven too.
All right, so
We have so much in common.
You're not there.
so you what? You pour yourself a drink. You make some calls. What would you do at home?
Just kick my feet up, pour myself a
kinda-
drink and.
Okay, so you start going through your phone, just trying to unwind.
Swipe left, swipe left, swipe left.
So
What else
while
am I
you're
gonna do?
actually going through your phone and just kind of just taking in everything that happened, you actually notice the second half of your payment from T hasn't came through.
Moderately concerned. Well, considering that I don't think he made it out of the casino. It would be expected that he wouldn't pay it, right? Because like I just brought him there,
And it's a fair assumption.
So I'm gonna give him a little bit of time to figure out whatever that was, because I know he didn't. If I do I know that he didn't make it out of the
You
casino?
saw him being like dragged out by the
Yeah.
thralls.
So
The
while
burly
it may not be
gentleman.
my business to rescue him, I also don't think it's my business to pressure him to make a payment when he's in the middle of whatever that was. So,
Okay.
kind of
All
just note it, frown, continue to eat this honey crisp apple over here.
Okay. So we're now going to flash over to Prim. Prim, you've kind of surveyed the shop. Luckily, most of like any valuables in terms of like cash is all locked up in a safe. None of that was stolen. Most of like what was taken has been like touristy kind of things, like some, I don't know, like rabbit's foots, some gems, crystals, things that like in the right hands actually would serve some purpose. But for the most part, the average people who make your way into their shop that aren't actually in the know pick it up because like they got a book at home that tells them how to use tarot cards.
And crystals have been all the rage lately.
Right. Different gems. Your mandrake has gone untouched.
Yeah, I didn't expect that people would necessarily know what to do with the mandrake or how valuable they are. And I don't think they would like touch any of the other plants that I would have back on that shelf anyway. So,
Really, if they did, they wouldn't have made it very far.
No. Well, they would not have if they tried to pull the mandrake out of its pot.
So
I
you
was
do.
gonna
Good.
said
Oh,
I
you're
was
not
gonna
there.
do that.
you don't get to do anything. You're not there. So the books on the shelves are kind of scattered across the floors, but as you kind of like start to restock the shelves, you notice that like none of the important books have actually been taken.
Yeah, so at this point, I am going to call the police non-emergency number and like get them to come by and tell them about the attacks on my shop, basically.
Okay. So you call the police dispatcher. I'm sorry, ma'am. It's been a crazy night. I don't know if you've heard, but the casino's been knocked over. I don't know how soon we can have a detective over to take a statement. Could I get your name and number, please? So I imagine you tell her because you don't actually have a address because I don't know which street your place is on. So you give her the information. She was all right. An officer will be in touch with you shortly. Please sit tight. I'd say about maybe 20 minutes goes by, and you actually get a call from a couple officers who inform you they're going to be by with a detective. They should be there in a few moments. And when a squad car pulls up, there's a like Crown Vic that pulls up with them, and you actually recognize who's getting out of the car is the Fred O'Sullivan, who you and who were you with at the bar?
Mike and John's body, so.
That's who it was. I was like, I thought it was Mike, but who was he with? So you actually recognize Fred, who's kind of, at this point, his hair's a mess. He's kind of disheveled. His shirt is like half tucked in, half untucked. He kind of throws a blazer, like a tweed blazer over his shoulder, hooks it underneath his thumb, kind of surveys the property, sees the damage, looks up at you and kind of winks.
Fred, I didn't think I'd be seeing you again tonight, and I extend out my hand to shake it.
He kind of hops over the line of rubble that you have to kind of approach, and well, they kind of have us working overtime tonight. I'm supposed to be my weekend off, but some knucklehead decided to attack the casino.
Yeah, we were both at the Eclipse Charm Chop House whenever the attack happened.
Yeah, well, I don't get those high-profile kinds of cases. It's not too much politics for me. But what he kind of looks back out the door and looks at the windows, surveys the area. What the dickens happened here?
Well, it actually happened earlier in the day, if you can believe it. I've gone through a lot today, as have you, I imagine.
I got the hell out of there. I don't even know what happened.
Yeah, we tried to get the hell out of there, but we were attacked whenever we were in the Eclipse Charm Chop House. Yeah. And
was it by that guy firing off firearms? I was trying to track him down.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a bunch of blank-faced people that attacked me and the company I was with, John.
See his eyebrow kind of perk up at that.
Yeah, blank-faced individuals that were kind of foaming at the mouth, and whenever you tried to speak to them, it was just a bunch of gibberish. A lot of guys like that are the same group of people who attacked my shop earlier. It happened early this afternoon.
So he's kind of taking down some notes. You notice the actual two patrol guys who are standing out in front of the shop actually kind of look at each other, and one of them kind of nods and the other shake his head. You've kind of gotten this look before. You can tell they're the kind of people who are like very dismissive of like the eccentric type. But Fred actually seems pretty interested. Like he's not dismissing anything that you're saying. And he goes, "Ma'am, from what you're describing, what caused Well, this.
A lot of those guys threw things through my window and broke them in. They chased me out of my shop.
Are they
And
carrying
we
around jackhammers? I mean, that's. I've never seen anything quite like that to the cement outside.
can't say that I have either. They just absolutely blew my windows out. It happened so fast I didn't even know how it happened, frankly.
Hmm. And what time? Around what time did you say this happened?
Sometime in the afternoon, maybe I don't know, it was an early afternoon.
So
It all was a blur. We got attacked. They chased us out and we ran away, and we ran to the safety and comfort of, a friend of ours. And then from there, we went to the Eclipse Charm Chop House because one of them had some business there. And yeah, and some of the same guys attacked us there as well. So today was just a blur.
So he's kind of tapping his pencil, kind of thinking through your story, and looks at you and goes, "So, why did you wait until now to call the police?"
Essentially because I was out. I was away from the shop and a lot of adrenaline, a lot of anxiety. I was just trying to calm down. Ugh.
I
And
get that,
Morgana
but
sort of puts her head in her hand and just kind of shakes it.
so while you're kind of describing through that, he's actually starts to kind of walk his way through the front of the shop, looking over your books, different things. He goes, "So, what exactly do you sell here?"
Well, it's a metaphysical shop, so I sell a lot of crystals and tarot cards, things of that nature, herbs, different candles.
So one of those all natural healing type places.
You could say that, yes.
All right. My wife keeps talking about these kinds of places. I just think it's all a little crazy talk. Just give me a couple of ibuprofen and I'm better. But so one of the problems I have with the store is seems kind of peculiar that these people attacked you in your shop and then a few hours later they show up at the casino where you're also at.
Yeah, I suppose that would seem a little suspicious, wouldn't it? I don't think they were trying to attack me necessarily, but I think they were after something that one of the people who was with me um, had in particular.
Do you know the name of this gentleman who was with you?
The guy's name is Terry.
Terry. And you got a
In the
last name
far
for Terry?
distance.
I don't know the kid's name. I just met him today. He came into my shop after he wanted some place to hide after being chased by a couple people. And yeah, he didn't seem like much of a troublemaker or like he, was actually out intending to cause any harm. Yeah, I frankly don't have all the details, and I don't know much about what's happened today either. It's been crazy.
Now you had indicated that maybe after something he has. What do you know what this item is? Like was he selling drugs or something? Did he steal something from him?
No, as far as I'm concerned, he showed me it was just some key.
A key. What did this key look like?
It and I try to describe it as best as I can with the little mercury vial, and Morgana knows exactly what it is, but she knows that she's dealing with mortals who are not going to know a damn thing about all this. So she just describes it as this key with a little mercury vial, and she's just like, I have no idea why they would be after it, but they were certainly chasing him.
Do me a favor and roll a guile.
All right.
Okay. So Fred he looks over you like he's trying to punch some holes in your story. He feels like you're not giving him the whole truth, but he has no like direct way to connect the dots or like kind of directly approach you about it. So he just kind of nods, makes some notes, and he goes, "Well, frankly, other than maybe filing a police report for you, and if you want to report anything stolen, I could give you a report for insurance, but unfortunately, sounds like we may be able to get some more information from the investigation at the casino if it's the same people who perpetrated the attack. Do you have somewhere you can stay, somewhere safe? I mean, I don't think they're going to come back. I mean," he kind of points to the window. He's like, "This isn't exactly the most secure location."
Yeah, I've got a place I can stay tonight. I mostly just want a report for insurance, and then I don't know if there's anything you can do to, until I can get some new glass for these windows.
And I could have one of the patrolmen kind of drop you off wherever you need to go, but unfortunately, we can't spare any patrolmen to keep an eye on the location right now. I mean, it's pretty much all hands on deck with what went down at the casino.
Yeah, that's understandable. Mostly just a police report. I guess I'll go to where I intend to stay tonight, and then I'll come back in the morning and report if anything else is stolen. I understand you have your hands full, so.
All right, man. He kind of waves over one of the officers who kind of fills out a formal report, gives you a case number, hands the paper, and then he also pulls a card out of his pocket, has his name on it, Detective Fred O'Sullivan. It has his cell phone number, and he kind of hands it over to you and tells you, "Well, ma'am, you be safe. If anything else comes to mind that you can think of, this key seems..." You don't hear too much about mercury keys too often. I feel like there might be something to this. If you can think anything more about it, or possibly how we can get in touch with this Terry gentleman, would definitely appreciate it, ma'am.
All right, will do. Thank you, Officer Sullivan.
So with that, he kind of makes his way out. They get back into the cars. Then the police take off.
All right. So I'm going to go back into the shop and get all of the things that Morgana cares most if they were stolen. Just some of the super valuables, like anything that remains, like the mandrakes, all the enchanted items on the back wall. And she's going to bring them up to her personal apartment upstairs. Okay. And then after this happens, I want Morg to use her Wonder of the Ways stunt. And basically, she wants to pop over to her childhood home and stay there for the night.
Okay. Read off the that skills to me. Might be a little easier.
Wonder of the Ways is your advanced knowledge of the Never Never's ways enables rapid travel. Once per session, you may conveniently arrive in a scene in a manner and time of your choosing without consideration of time or distance.
Okay. So you go and you actually open a way to the Never Never and hop through a few shortcuts to make your way back to your childhood home, essentially.
Yep.
Okay. With that, I'm going to say we're going to take a quick break, refresh our drinks, and be back in a few minutes.
All right.
As that occurred in the far distance, Terry felt a goose walk over his grave.
All right, where's OBS? Break. There we go. All right, we'll be back.
All right. I will refill my drink.
Too far into it. I just want to show you guys this drink. So my wife bought me this beer drop thing for an early anniversary gift. And it came with this, so this is the can of beer. This is a normal can of beer.
Oh, you got that
What?
Foster's can.
Yeah, it's 32 ounces. And on the side it says Fly Teco. I think the brand is Fly Teco Brewing. But it says on there, "Fly good, don't suck."
Nice.
Which I just thought
You
was
be
fantastic.
drinking Australia strong now.
Oh, it's Denver, Colorado. It's just in a giant ass Australian can, I guess.
Yep, that's friend of mine was there for a couple months for work, and he likes to drink beer. And he said the most remarkable thing was that's the standard size. You want a can of Foster's, it comes in a 32-ounce can.
That's fantastic. All right, so
Sonic needs to start putting out alcohol in their Route 44 cups.
I feel that.
I just want Sonic to start putting cherries back into my cherry limeade.
Did they stop?
Did they
I don't
stop?
do that.
They probably do. Around here, they've been cutting back, and it's pissing me off.
Oh no.
Oh, rip.
Yeah,
That's the last straw.
Right. I want that cherry. That's why I'm getting a cherry limeade. Man,
I think we should start a class action lawsuit.
Yeah, if I go back there again, there's no cherry in it. I'm gonna write a seriously strongly worded letter. All right. So all right, we just finished up with Prim. The police took off. We're gonna jump back to the potions lounge where Jacob and Amelia.
Now, before we begin the scene, let me take a moment to remind our viewers, contextualize Morgana's last interaction with the police. Terry is a very nice, polite young man who is fundamentally not in the good graces of the law. The end of his youth was marked by taking part in a religious ritual that killed another young man, and then that young man's ghost possessed him, and they proceeded to maim several people and destroy the church. They went on to start another cult in another town, and Terry bailed at Mike's prompting the moment the police began to be interested in their group. Many police forces across the world, and the FBI in particular, maintain lists of problematic groups, people who could be cults, people who could be like vigilante militias. Terry had a suspicion that he was starting to get on that list. He bailed again, here to Louisiana. Fundamentally, he is a cult leader learning the ropes, just getting started in his trade. Terry is not well liked by police forces.
But he does have a beloved mentor and dear close friend.
Yes, he does. And the bonus pair of eyes in the back of his head has been a great boon to Terry over the years. So,
Literally.
Consider the context now contextualized, and we may proceed.
Okay.
So I'm leaning up on the door next to her, kind of doing my usual mimicry thing, trying to make Terry laugh.
Terry can't handle it. He does chuckle a little bit. He's still a touch loopy, but he's trying his best.
So
Has Amelia said anything yet?
Nope, she's just standing there kind of tapping her foot.
I should point out, too, that based upon Mike's ectoplasmic cohesion being pretty much depleted, he's actually a little loopy, too.
Is there another chair in the room besides the love seat?
There's like an office chair, like a
Terry
computer chair.
Gestures to her own office chair and says, "Pull up. I'll tell you the story. As much of it as I can, I guess."
Oh,
It's a
man,
bit of a
Terry,
mess.
thanks. I appreciate that, my friend. I'm going to walk over and sit down.
So she walks over. She's, well, at least you got some good sense to you. And she pulls out the chair, kind of spins it around, and sits with like the back of the chair in front of her and drapes her arms over, and she was, all right, let me hear it.
Terry begins a largely accurate recounting of most of the events of the campaign thus far, at least as he's experienced them. He recounts his altercation with the man who was most likely at least known to them and perhaps one of their order himself, and the vampirist who stole the box. And that he's, he ran into John while fleeing, pursuit from another unrelated group also interested. He emphasizes that, he and John were quite friendly. John had given him the card for this place so that he could, come and visit and have a chat. On the subject of Mike, he tries to explain, but Terry doesn't quite understand why it's so important to them yet. So when he gets to that part, which I'll do live, I guess, he says, now, I'm not sure if you're going to believe me. This one's a little tricky. I have a ghost.
You have a ghost?
He's not my ghost exactly. He's a friend of mine. And he pretty much sticks with me. We've been together a long time.
Stick to you. Peanut butter on bread when you drop it on the floor.
He's here now, actually. His name's Mike. He's been hanging out with us this whole time. I'd tell you to say hello. Most of the time, people can't really see him.
Hi.
So, I believe you. And John is gifted. He's had a bit of a hard life living around here, as you can imagine. There's a lot of spirits. However, what I'm not too quite sure about is why was John looking for you?
John wasn't looking for me exactly. We ran into each other in a shop downtown. He was there looking for a guy named Freddy I haven't actually met.
Always got some
acquaintance of the proprietress, I suppose. But we got to talking when we met there, and it turns out that lady who stole the box is somebody he was actually looking into as well. So we got to chatting about it. Anyways,
John,
by the time we made it to this apartment after the fact, I start trying to explain to John, but I assume you guys are also looking for the box and its contents.
This is why I drive when we gamble.
So
we gamble?
Would you showing them all your cards?
I take it you're speaking to the entity.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been doing this my whole life, more or less. So, I start to forget every now and then. Yeah,
understandable. But, John tends to do the same. Now,
yeah, John's not right in the head.
What exactly did John share with you about this box?
Tootie. Oh wait, sorry.
Terry takes a moment to evaluate whether she's probing him for information that she doesn't have, or if she's testing how much information John revealed.
You're trying to figure that out?
Yeah, I guess intellect probably.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's an intellect roll for you.
You're unsure. Yeah, and you can't tell.
That's fair. This is not Terry's strong suit. So he's just, seeing as he's trying to win these people over for some protection, he just lets it out there. He says, it's Philosopher's Stone, as far as I can tell. And I know, it's everybody loves that sort of thing. I tried to persuade him it was a bad idea, but you can only tell people so much.
So she starts kind of clicking her tongue against her teeth, and she goes, "Why would it be a bad idea?"
Way to go, Harry Potter.
Oh, no.
Big Terry smile.
Philosophy debate time.
Big Terry smile. As suddenly we're back onto ground he's comfortable with, and he starts to explain. He says, life here in the mortal realm is occasionally enjoyable, but fundamentally flawed, and prolonging that life is only keeping you from your true reward and your true home.
Yeah.
So you
Look at this magic, lady. Let me
So
tell
you-
you about words.
you explained to me that you have this spirit that follows you around.
Yep, Mike.
It's attached to you.
Follows Terry.
We did.
I'm a puppy
That's
now,
a long.
Terry.
That's a
I
long
look like a
story, I'm afraid.
I'm a big, dumb cocker spaniel
So-
that floats around.
This became
Follows.
anchored to you by coincidence.
I wouldn't exactly call it coincidence.
We
There
wouldn't call it
was-
coincidence, would we, Terry?
All
Are you
right.
going to tell her the real story?
No, hell no. He doesn't
No?
say that out loud, by the way.
Okay.
I mean, we're not holding back about the box or the stone or everyone we've talked to or anything else. For all we know, these people are just going to take all this information, cut your pretty little throat, and leave you in a ditch, and then where would I be? You're not thinking about me, Terry. My well-being. I have a bright future ahead of
Terry says, excuse me to Amelia for a moment. Mike, you know I'm always thinking about you. And remember, God's on my side.
me. Yeah. Fair.
All
Fair,
right.
but
I've been pretty level with you. He's saying this to Amelia now. I've been pretty level with you. I have told you all of this that, I didn't have to. I could have dropped John off on the front door and left. I could have left John to die. But I didn't, because he did me a good turn. And I've done him a good turn. And I'm very curious about you guys. But my past is my past. Your past is your past. I'd really rather not talk about it.
Fair enough.
You can imagine the circumstances that attached a ghost to me might have been somewhat traumatic.
it's traumatic
Understandable.
for you.
I just find it interesting that your explanation or your situation that derived this, you should kind of understand the potential benefits to being able to break your anchor. Or at least you may not, but have you ever spoken to the spirit to see how his feelings are of this?
We chat all the time.
I never shut up.
Yeah.
How does he feel? Would he like to have moved on to greater things?
Did you hear me?
Terry laughs.
A bright future ahead of me. I've got stock options, full benefits. I've got amazing healthcare.
Does Terry start laughing like this?
Program.
Yes. Oh
my God. The Afterlife Rewards program kicks in after about 3 months. It's easy street from there. I've got free room and board. Look at my day. Look at this place. You can fit so much Mike in this bad boy. Pack.
I feel that maybe a lack of familiarity with spirits has led a few people, you and your friends, to romanticize it a little bit. I'll tell you this. Mike is a huge fan of Metallica and arguably bad 80s movies and all sorts of things. I knew him before. And he ain't changed much.
So you'll concede that there's potential for benefit, or at least no harm.
Oh, there's a lot that you just gotta let people do out of politeness. The things that I know and the things that other people know, they're not the same and they can't be the same. Because it's not knowledge that you can simply acquire by being told. And it's deeply rude to try and force it on others.
I know.
So I'm not going to stand here and tell you that you shouldn't try and live. I can't even tell Mike he shouldn't try and live. And he's a bit closer to the other side than anybody I've ever met.
I'm trying really hard to live, Terry. I'm trying.
But I know the truth. So I will caution you anyways. It's not the right way. It can only hurt you more.
I know. Can you imagine if I was like some window peeking, finger sniffing pervert? God, imagine being stuck to that.
So she goes and she takes a deep breath. A true believer.
Do you remember Kevin with the Coke bottle glasses that ate paste and like shaved patches of his legs for some reason? Do you remember him?
I forgot about him, Mike. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Mike's reminiscing.
Can you imagine if that was your ghost? Imagine being.
Oh God. God, no, that'd be awful.
Like these guys have no idea what they're messing with.
They don't. To let you know, like John was just as surprised when I started telling him about Mike and he got to see him. I tried to explain, but he had to see it for himself. So he let Mike drive around a little while. And that's how we got into this mess, basically.
Yeah, he's, it was kind of like hopping in your mom's station wagon, really. Except for the Baba Yaga in his head. That was a little weird.
That's right. I was getting there. I'm sorry. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. So once we were out and about, John's doing a ride along with Mike in the driver's seat, and they're going out for a spin. I'm having a bit of a truce meeting with the people who were chasing me down, and I don't know exactly who stole that box, but they are deeply unholy.
Ooh, now you're using the
and their powers are beyond the powers that you would usually attribute to mortal forces. They kicked Mike out of John's body, and judging by the way he's roused, they might have kicked John out of it too, or at least addled his head a little bit.
Oh.
And we did not get out of there unscathed. We barely got out at all.
That lady brought the big guns. She brought the big guns.
Do you mean expelled?
So, I don't know exactly how much practical experience you've had of spirits, but if they feel like it, they can just take over. If you're already a spirit, it's not too hard to, put yourself in the driver's seat of a new vessel.
What do you call a ghost that gets sneezed?
You had mentioned John may have been expelled. What exactly do you mean?
This is from Mike. Obviously, I wasn't in his head, but Mike was. I then try to restrain.
Terry, I got this.
So, you got this?
Here's what happened. Right. Here's what happened. This is what happened. Right. I was in there. I was having fun.
Are you translating through Terry, or are you driving now?
I know. I think he's probably just sitting there nodding as I talk.
I'm translating. I'm repeating this back as I'm looking at Mike.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm in there. It's kind of dark. His head's a little empty. No offense to John. I'm sure he's a lovely guy. And next thing I know, like I see John in his head. Now, normally when I'm in there, when I'm in somebody, giggity,
I trimmed that part.
they interact a bit with me back and forth. There's a little tit for tat. Anyway, he's like tied up, acting wonky in his chair in the middle of this dark room, big light on him, like something out of some crazy noir movie.
With that, you see her actually jump up, and the chair she was sitting on topples over to the ground. She's wide-eyed. She goes, "Repeat that."
I repeat it back in whatever detail that Mike provides.
The description of how he's tied up and everything.
Yeah, he's tied up. And then the Baba Yaga came in. That old Granny Green Guts or whatever her name was. Ah, she's creepy. Some old babushka came traipsing in, and
damn it.
You know, it was the weirdest thing.
She goes storming out of the room into the kitchen.
Wow, rude. I wasn't done.
I think they knew him, Mike. I think they knew him.
I wasn't done.
I'm sure they'll be back. Don't you worry.
Man, people are rude, Terry.
You see a few more people go running down through the hallway into the kitchen.
Should we go too, or?
No, I'm gonna rest here for a minute. I doubt they want us underfoot right now.
I bet you're hungry. Terry, when was the last time you ate? You got to take better care of yourself. You
that
really are just...
That's some good bread at that restaurant.
You are irresponsible with that body. And that is our body.
He starts checking his pockets. He has a roll in there from earlier, and he starts eating the roll.
Pocket rolls.
Ooh, pocket rolls. Nice, nice. You know, there's a kitchen right here.
I'll see about something later. For now, I got pocket rolls.
Come on, let's go make some shepherd's pie.
So we're gonna flash forward over to Jallard. Jallard just sleeping, listening to Metallica.
Alone at last, just enjoying not being around those. Just having such a great time over here by myself, you know, my little. Well, not little, you know, obviously. This is my main house that I live in while I'm here, you know. So, having a great time over here by myself. You know, earlier I was drinking some wine, and then now I'm, you know, relaxed and, you know, just, this is great. This is great. Had a good cry earlier. No one saw me. 10 out of 10.
Good strats.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you just you gonna sleep through the night, or is there anything you gotta do, catch up on?
You know,
any other business things you had pending?
A while ago, we were talking about maybe arranging a golf game with the commissioner for the city of New Orleans. Yes, I would like to further my efforts in casually arranging that.
Describe to me what your thoughts on casually arranging that would entail.
Well,
spend a resource. I want to see Jallard spend a resource so bad.
Casually asking around, like using my
just start calling up your contacts.
Not just like cold calling people, but like people who are known to associate with other people who may or may not know when he's gonna hit the green at some point, you know, just kind of.
So you want to like stumble into him at like tea times, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, you know, I'm independently wealthy. Why not, right? I can orchestrate these things, can't
I? If you want to take out loans and personal favors.
People already owe me enough, so I don't need to do that.
Get some debt.
Spend the resource. Spend the resource.
Nah. I'm not gonna do it yet. Okay, I'm not gonna do it yet. I want to try to do it without the resource just to see how well it goes or how badly it goes, and then we'll recover from there. But this is kind of a back burner, back of the stove type of goal.
So depending on how you go about the calls, I would let you roll either a guile or an intellect. Your choice. Depending on what you roll is going to depend on the difficulty of it.
Since I'm intentionally being utilizing subterfuge, I'm gonna go with guile, just because I'm not, trying to engineer anything.
Okay.
This is just me using my natural abilities to kind of just make it happen, Captain.
Okay. Let's go ahead and see that dice roll. Those fate dice.
Okay. I need to pop that out and put it over there, and then go to the chat window and. Hey! It's a 3! That's bad. That's bad.
Nah,
That
three's
means
all
it
right.
was a
No, it's not.
0.
Yeah, three is the equivalent of a good roll in terms of ladder scale. So you had a good roll. Your skill wise was good.
All right.
You just don't know how hard it is. So you go and you make some calls. You kind of some calls, some emails, contacts. You kind of send out your feelers, and you actually get a call back from kind of one of the dispatchers in the 911 center, and your phone starts ringing. You see their name pop up on the phone.
Hello.
Is this Gillard?
Who's asking?
This is Tony.
Hey, Tony. How are you?
I'm not bad. I gotta make it quick. I hear you might be looking for some information on where the chief might be.
I might be, yeah.
I hear there might be a little bit of a finder's fee for this.
Sure, why not?
I mean, it's information, right? I mean, information's worth money.
Very true. All right,
So-
finder's fee it is.
How much you offering? I mean, it's chief schedule's pretty busy. I got a direct line to it. I can tell you.
Okay, a dispatcher in New Orleans probably would make about, let's just say,
I gotta
let's
go.
say
I
your
mean, come on.
finder's fee is 500.
500. All right. No. That. Oh yeah. That's funny, Mom. That's funny. All right. I gotta go. But all right. So all right. I'll text you some of the account information. But in 2 days from now, he'll actually be on the golf course, with a couple of the city officials. That's probably gonna be the easiest time to contact him. Yeah, mom, I understand. I'll talk to you later, Mom. I'll text you the information, and they hang up.
All right. I quirk an eyebrow and I'm like, all right, that was cheap.
$500, you just made that guy's day. All right, so
What do you mean?
That's how
fill
you
my
get
nose
repeat
with hundreds.
customers.
What's the significance? I'm independently wealthy. I mean,
How
have
many
you seen
zeros?
my
2?
house?
I can do that.
Have you seen my house?
we got our group's Bill Gates right here.
Where do you think the name came from?
So in 2 days that the chief of police will be at the Golden Acres Golf Club. Give me a second. I gotta write that down. I just made it up on the spot.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Me too, actually, because I haven't been taking notes as well as I should, because I'm not aware of things that
The
are
world's
happening.
ending.
Yeah, it is, actually.
Odds exist.
Yeah. I mean, look outside, right?
All right.
I'm trying to.
So in
I
2
got
days,
those backup notes.
This new thing where I take notes according to the meta of what I would have heard.
Good. I like that. That's how I do it. If I take notes, if my character documents things. So what else would you just at this point just be like, all right, I'm done for the night and just kind of go to sleep?
I'm enjoying a night by myself. You know, I'm rewarding myself with some alone time after being bombarded by whatever.
A little bit of Jallard time.
Yes. I'm stretching out like a cat, just like, spine cracking, stretch, just like, oh yes.
Walk around the house, just rub up against inanimate objects.
Not to that cat extent, but just,
So what I really want to know is Jallard. Does Jallard have like a Scrooge McDuck vault where he just swims in his money?
First of all, can we stop telling people to swim in hard currency? Stop. Do you realize how much coins hurt? Do you realize how much coins weigh? No. If Scrooge McDuck were gonna feasibly actually swim in his currency, he would have to suspend it in a liquid of some kind, right? In order to make the movement between the coins fluid enough for him to dive into. You try diving onto a pile of rocks, I dare you. Okay.
Is Jallard know this
anything-
from experience?
Oh, yes. He's tried many times to get gold coins and dive in them, but it's not feasible. I mean, you try jamming your hand into a chest full of currency. You can't physically do it.
He has an open request for proposal from a local engineering firm to engineer swimmable gold coins, and
Life
the price
goals.
tag associated with it is quite high.
The better thing to do would be to buy precious stones, such as diamonds or something like that, and then suspend them in a pool and then swim in it.
All right,
If
so
you
we're
set the
gonna
intention just right. Yes.
fast forward back to Prim while Jallard dreams throughout the night about swimming in a currency such as suspended diamonds. While
All right.
Metallica blast in the background.
I thought we couldn't say it again.
Oh no, that's 4. That's 4. I'm already looking over my shoulder.
This is where we need to super with the green screen have Lars just pop up with the cease and assist order.
Their drums intensifies.
This entire section is gonna be just white noise, but from a cease and assist sent to Twitch. Just this streamer used the Metallica name more than 3 times in a stream.
We're sorry. We like your music. Don't hurt me.
Insta-ban.
Dude, but yes, I have good taste. I do, honestly. I have good taste. Metallica all the way. Like, find you a good song and stick with it.
Whiskey in the Jar, it's my favorite Metallica song.
Yeah, and it's
There's a Metallica version of
much-
Whiskey in the Jar?
Yes. Have you not
It's
heard
really
this?
good.
Oh my goodness.
I have
Your
not.
education needs a severe updraft, dude. Like it needs an upgrade, honestly.
I will take a detour there after the session.
It's actually my favorite version of Metallica to sing at karaoke. Is Whiskey in the Jar.
I can't listen to Tomorrow Never Waiting for the Dawn, whatever this song is, that Tomorrow Never Comes. That one.
Anyways, back on the topic. People aren't tuning in for us to debate music. Sorry, we'll talk more after.
All right,
We'll do it in character.
Are all 3 viewers? Prim.
Aw, we out here
No, we-
styling and profiling.
We got 5 viewers tonight. That's actually really good for us.
All
We're
right.
working up. Prim.
So Morgana arrives at her childhood home. So this home is, for the viewers, is just a little shotgun house off of Magazine Street. For those of you not familiar with New Orleans nowadays, Magazine Street has become home to a lot of boutiques and different shops and such. But back when Morgana's mother bought the house in the 1960s or the late 60s, it was still like a heavily working class neighborhood. So she bought it for cheap. And it's just like after her mother died, Morgana could not make herself get rid of the house, basically. So she thought that she would keep it as a space that she could go to relax whenever she wants to get away from it all. She thought about maybe having it as an income property, but she never got around to that. Just couldn't make herself do it. So she keeps the house like whenever she just needs to relax and recharge and just a safe space to go to. So she steps onto the narrow lot of this little shotgun house, walks into the door and steps in to go and drop her things off inside and just kind of surveys the house.
Okay. When was the last time you were at the house?
Last time Morgana was out the house was probably a few months back. Honestly, well, not even a few months back. It's a few weeks back because she goes to like check up on the house and like just keep it straight.
Okay.
Essentially,
So it's pretty well maintained. It's not like you go in and there's just dust everywhere and cobwebs hanging. It's you go and do like a bi-weekly cleaning type thing.
yeah, because she takes care of that house because it's still her home, her domain. She treats it as. So
Okay.
yeah.
So you enter the house and describe to me kind of like the decor. Is this an old house where like my grandmother growing up, her house, she had like plastic on all the couches and all the furniture? Is that type setup, or is it a little bit more fancy? Or
It's pretty simple, sort of a working class setup. A lot of the furniture is from, say, the 70s and 80s, kind of a mix. So she walks in, and right in front of her is a narrow hallway that leads to the rest of the house because it is a shotgun house. To her left, it's kind of the living room area. And New Orleans shotgun houses are like huge tall ceilings. So this is like 11-foot ceilings. But yeah, and there's a fireplace that goes all the way up, but otherwise it's relatively unused sort of height space basically. So to her left there's like the fireplace, and then there's sort of a little end table by the fireplace. It has like an old CRT television that looks like it hasn't worked in a few years, but Morgana doesn't really watch television anyway, so it's not been that big of an issue to her. Sort of like an old golden couch in front of the fireplace, and then there's a recliner by the couch where her mother, whenever she got really sick, used to sit in like all the time. Against one wall, there is a console table where Morgana and her mother would store a bunch of different things inside of it, for like plates, extra table settings as needed, different knickknacks. And sort of around the living area, there are a lot of different pictures of Morgana's mother and her whenever she was a little kid. They are hanging on the walls, just placed on the console table and different tables, the fireplace mantles. But none of the photos feature Morgana any older than about, say, age 12, except for a few school photos that were taken of her in middle school, like in sort of early high school, whenever she was like 13, 14, 15. Otherwise, there's not really a whole lot of photos of Morgana older, because around like age 12 is when her mother started falling really sick. So there's not a lot of pictures of her from her teenage years.
so when you go to the house, I imagine you're staying there overnight, right?
Oh yeah. Morgana sort of flips on the lights, takes a look around, and like says, same old house, same old furniture from whenever I was a kid. Kind of plops her stuff down on the couch. And because it is still early enough in the night and Morgana really hasn't eaten supper, what she is going to do is she is going to step out of the house, like take her keys and her belongings, obviously. And because she is on Magazine Street, she is going to walk down to Dat Dog and grab a hot dog for dinner.
Down to Dat Dog. So is that a hot dog joint?
Yes.
Okay.
An actual IRL hot dog joint in New Orleans on Magazine Street.
Just describe to me, because I'm from for the viewers there, I'm from the Chicago area. So we have Chicago dogs. What's a New Orleans dog consist of?
That dog pretty much makes a lot. I think they make their own sausages, if I remember right. So they do have like a Vienna all beef frank. So it's more of a Chicago favorite, but then they have different things like
it is. I'm impressed you know Vienna.
Yeah, alligator sausage, crawfish sausage, duck sausage, a Guinness dog, just different offerings. So yeah, that dog, you just get you a hot dog, you order what toppings you want and a side, and yeah, that dog, they have other things like beer battered cod and things like that, but yeah, they're a really good gourmet hot dog stand.
My favorite sausage I had when I was out there was actually a crawdad sausage.
That's an interesting choice.
Yeah, it was good.
Nice.
So describe so you said it's boutique shops. Is it all like more modern and like a suburb type thing, or are there backyards, or is it back up against some like woodland areas? What kind of areas do you walk past going to and from the hot dog shop?
So Magazine Street is sort of a 6-mile stretch of what used to be all residential, that a lot of it has been turned into shops, but now is sort of a mix of shops and residential. So a lot of what you see along Magazine Street is shotgun houses still, but they've been turned into boutiques, like clothing boutiques. There will be a few hair and nail salons, a couple of places to eat, just really neat. So it looks residential, but has a lot of commercial sort of mixed in. And it has this very artsy, sort of like eclectic vibe, but not eclectic in the way that Morgana is eclectic. Like, it's an eclectic vibe with mainstream appeal, let's put it that way.
Okay. All right, so you make it through the hot dog, you get yourself some food, you feel a little bit more relaxed, you make your way back to your mother's old house. Would you turn in for the night? Would you watch some TV? How would you kind of just unwind and take in everything that's happened over the last day?
For Morgana, what she would do first is she would cast sort of a meditative spell, not like a proper spell, but just like sort of a Wiccan thing, essentially, where she essentially just does a little ritual spell to kind of ground and recenter herself, to just kind of relax, because she goes into her old bedroom and she kind of started practicing magic whenever she was around like 15 or 16-ish. So she still has a lot of the old candles, a lot of the old supplies that she used to use, even though all of her stuff that she uses currently and her really nice stuff is in her apartment above her shop, but she can make do with her old stuff. So she just does a little sort of Wiccan ritual to ground and recenter herself, get her more relaxed for the night, and then she's going to turn in and go to sleep.
Okay. Now, from your character's background, your ancestry, do you have an idea of what area of the Never Never, or what were you like who's your family descended from, like Wild Fae, Winter Fae,
Oh man,
Summer
you've hit
Fae?
the mother lode.
So Morgana does not know her fairy parent, though her fairy parent was one of the Sheed lords and ladies that was affiliated with one of the courts but banished. And I have it in her backstory that her fairy parent basically tried to create their own court, but not to usurp the power of the summer or winter courts, but essentially non-court affiliated she, lord or lady. So yeah.
Okay. So while you're in this meditative state, were you like sleeping in a bedroom or more like on a couch?
Sleeping in our old bedroom.
Okay. So you're in your old bedroom, night goes by, and have you ever been in that situation where you're sleeping and like someone turns on the lights and like even though your eyes are closed, you can kind of see a bright light through your eyelids?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So while you're sleeping, you kind of get jostled awake, but you're still kind of groggy because you're in this meditative state, and you kind of notice this light every few seconds kind of darting past your eyelids.
Well, that's disturbing. Morgana is going to open her eyes at this to see what's going on because she's pretty sure that she's alone in the house. She locked the door.
So what you see as you kind of open up your eye is this light that's kind of shooting back and forth sporadically is kind of like zigzagging, kind of just sporadic movement, and it kind of stops right in front of your face as you notice that your eyelid opens up, and you see this like 2-inch tall creature with wings, has this big gut that kind of hangs out. It's wearing overalls, one overall suspender kind of hanging down, and it's got, you know, those like old moonshine jugs?
Yeah.
It's holding one of those underneath its arm.
My boy.
And it just looks at you, wide eyes, kind of shocked, like, I've been busted. And that's where we're going to end it for the night.
All right.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, so we took 3 weeks off. How's the schedule look for everyone? I think next Friday should work for me if everyone wants to do another session.
I'm good.
There's no particular Fridays that I'm not available that I can
Okay.
think of coming up, so go for it. I can be there.
All right, I got enough to put some details back. Tonight I had pretty much pulled all of this out because I had no idea what the group was, except for Prim, who had talked to me a little bit about what her plans were. I had no idea what the group was going to do, so I couldn't like plan anything, so I was just piecemeal in this all together. But I at least have enough info on at least putting together a little more structured plan for next week.
Nice.
I guess I'll have to send you what I have in mind for Morgana's fairy heritage, that background.
Yeah, that actually that will work with this friend that you just encountered.
Yeah.
What did everyone like? What did everyone dislike? Does everyone feel like they're getting their own moment to shine?
Oh, definitely. I like that different elements pertaining to the characters' backstories were sort of brought in this session. Like a little bit of Terry's and Mike's sort of background was extrapolated on. I got to delve into Morgana's backstory a little bit for everyone, so it's neat. I like it.
Okay. Master, what about you? Are you
Yeah,
enjoying yourself?
It's tough to get into this character because I have an idea of what I want him to be, and I want him to be more, but I don't really know how to expand on it.
I'll touch base with you during the week and we'll work on that.
Just spend that money. It's nothing. Spend that money.
Yeah, but that's not all he is, you know. I had kind of the thought earlier when I was listening to some of the Metallica songs I picked. Again, we said it again, don't hurt us, we said it again. But but you know, I don't ever really talk about his family and stuff like that, and all kinds of like nuances, you know. Who is he? Why is he the way he is? Why don't you ever hear about his parents? You know, why
So I will.
you know,
I'll say
uh,
at this point, everyone has more or less hit a minor milestone in the story.
Oh, that's
So
exciting.
essentially the Dresden Files equivalent of leveling up. So I'll send everyone some details on like what some of the minor milestone rewards are, and some of it actually I can't remember if it's a minor or major. There's different things like restructuring aspects and things of that nature. So this will actually be a good time, Master, for us to work together on building on your character a bit more.
I think with minor, I know you can choose to either swap the scores of two different approaches,
Mm-hmm.
and you can swap out one stunt for another, like within your mantle, or if you have any refresh points, you can add another stunt, like that's also from your mantle to your character.
Yeah.
and
So
if he, sorry,
okay.
I was just gonna say if he's meant to be a supporting character, I'm fine with that. But I just don't know if that's all I want him to be. People can easily just hate the guy that runs and leaves everybody behind, but there is no bond there. Is my point. You know, and that needs to build.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree with that,
So,
and I'll work with you on a way we can build on that a bit more.
Well, you and Mike have a powerful bond.
do we? Because I don't.
I feel
think
that's a
that-
one-way relationship there, Church.
In my size, you do.
He really wants to.
Eh,
I'm wearing him down.
yeah.
All right. Outside of Dresden Files, I've been Church and I about a month, maybe. Oh, it was probably 2 months ago now, considering the breaks we've taken. Started building out a Star Wars campaign that we want to do, and then I realized, it would probably be good to actually run the game a little bit before we get too far into creating an adventure, and then being like, well, now
Sometimes.
we need to redo everything because we were way off base. So I'm actually thinking about running a campaign it's a pre-made adventure from Fantasy Flight Games, Star Wars themed. It's called The Jewel of Yevon, and it is actually a Star Wars themed heist game. If anyone is interested in running that, whether it's viewers, feel free to drop by our Discord. Let us know if you have an interest in it. Any of our regulars let me know if you're interested. I don't have a time frame yet. I'm thinking about possibly alternating between 1 week Dresden Files, 1 week pre-made, because the pre-mades I don't have to think too much because it's already been written. But I was thinking about alternating in a nature like that. But it's the difference between Star Wars. I view Star Wars as kind of being a middle ground of Dresden Files and D&D. It's got the theatrical narrative based of the Dresden Files, but a lot more structured and ability to live inside a box that like D&D has.
Mm-hmm.
So if anyone's interested, let me know.
Definitely.
I feel it. I'd be glad to try it out.
All right. Yeah.
I'll keep an
run
eye
some
on it
characters.
as you approach a time frame.
Okay. Yeah. I'll post more info in Discord as I got it. Everyone who decided to tune in tonight, thank you very much. Church, are you going to be running an adventure tomorrow?
Not tomorrow, but just to let you guys know that I haven't forgotten you or given you up. I have actually been working on it. The next chapter is going to bring you to a fringe border town in the desolate wastes on the edge of the Galdowina wastes called Abattoir.
Very nice.
So our next Saturday will be the Cairn thing. Then, right? No, wait.
No Karen tomorrow.
No, Karen tomorrow, but I think
I think I'm thinking of Stapleton. Stapleton will be the next one.
Stapleton be the 26th if Church is running it.
Yeah.
no, we can count on the 26th for Stapleton. I won't deny you there's that one.
good.
You do as you
Kong.
must, man.
Yay!
Yeah, I won't deny
Don't
you
listen
guys
to
that
them. You run our games, church.
one.
Back to 5e at last. Back to 5e. Not to take a dump on anyone else, but oh, I
Oh
really,
yeah.
I really want to get back to 5e. You don't know. You have no idea. You have no idea.
I will say Tuesday, if I can work it out and you guys still want to have a little round table about what we've done so far and discuss where it's gone, where it's been, and
I'm still quite glad to do so.
I would still like to do that. I was thinking about calling the night of the round table.
I'd love to do that.
Fun.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I'll run some ideas I have for complete rule changes that I'm thinking about implementing here and there. And
Yeah, because I actually have some ideas for the musician class that I wanted to run by you.
yeah, that's exactly what I want. That's exactly what I want to hear. So yeah, if you guys want to count on Tuesday about 8:00, we'll meet up here and I'll slate the time aside for myself too, and we'll ramp that up and have a chat.
Fantastic. All right.
All right.
So Tuesday, tune in. Keep an eye out. I thank you for everyone for participating tonight and for everyone who tuned in. I had a blast.
Oh yeah,
It
was
a
very
joy.
fun.
Thanks for running it.
Much fun.
Where's my OBS to end stream? There we go.
Good
right.
night, everybody.